Banning video games glorifying gun violence is not a viable plan. Consumers in America have a right to purchase the media that they find the most entertaining, and the game market is extremely competitive. If people like violent video games, they should be able to play them as much as they want to. Showing how many people play video games does nothing to say why violent video games should be banned. The relationship between violent video games and actual acts of violence has never even come close to being firmly established. The links between things such as poverty and single parenthood and violence are much better established. However, these problems are much harder to solve. It is much easier for politicians to pass a law banning video games than it is for them to undertake an entire agenda to lower violence in society. These video games are used as a scapegoat. Banning video games is an easy answer which will do nothing to solve the very real problem of violence in our society. Furthermore, banning violent video games, or video games of any sort, would greatly impinge on personal liberty, and possibly even the First Amendment, since sometimes violence in art and literature is considered a means of expression. It would be a truly radical step to allow the government to tell adults how they are allowed to entertain themselves. There is no evidence to suggest that government bureaucrats would be the least bit competent in determining which video games cause a threat and those who don't. Is the violence in Grand Theft Auto acceptable? What about in Roadrunner and Coyote? Shouldn't parents be able to make this decision for their children instead of unqualified government workers? Also, video games have many benefits besides entertainment. For example, Dr. Mark Griffiths at Nottingham Trent University points out that most reported effects of video games, particularly in the popular press, appear to center upon the alleged negative consequences. These have included my own research into video game addiction, increased aggressiveness, and the various medical and psychosocial effects. However, there are many references to the positive benefits of video games in literature. Research dating right back to the early 1980s has consistently shown that playing computer games, irrespective of their genres, produces reductions in reaction time, improved hand-eye coordination, and raises the player's self-esteem. What's more, curiosity, fun, and the nature of the challenge also appear to add to a game's educational potential. So what I'm saying is, instead of focusing on the negatives that may not even exist, we should focus on the positive effects of video games on youth. Taking away a freedom that millions of people enjoy, and simultaneously getting rid of the numerous positive effects games can have on children is a bad idea. Also, what about the adults that play these games? If anything, these games probably lower their aggression. Coming home after a bad day at work and having an entertaining game to play relieves stress. A ban on video games glorifying gun violence shouldn't be passed.